New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Why, hello, it's me, yes, me, Bonnie Gonzalez, your doula for grief. Thank you so much for being here this afternoon, this morning, or whenever you're watching. Just thank you for showing up. Thank you for allowing yourself to even tap into or tune into a program that has the word grief in it. In our society, that's one of the words that a lot of people run from, but not you who are watching, that you are courageous and so willing to look at grief. So a little bit about me. I am Bonnie Gonzalez. I am a registered nurse. I am a religious science practitioner. I'm a grief coach and a licensed soul collage facilitator, all rolled into one, and most importantly, a human being right here on the planet with you. So again, thank you so much for joining. And what I would like you to do, if this is your first time joining us, I so, as I said, applaud your courageousness and want you to know that you have come to the right place to start your recovery from grief. And if you're returning, then you're a wonderful friend, and I am so honored that you keep coming back. And what I would like you to do is just sit back, make this hour about you and for you. You can always drop a comment in the comment box or a question. And I'm going to put this out there. If you'd like to be a guest on this program, let me know. You can find me. My contact information will come up a little bit later, and it's just www.yourdoulaforgrief.com. So it's a pretty easy one. So as I said, just make this hour yours and just sit back and relax. And just a little bit about grief. So many people, when they hear the word grief, the first thing they think is, oh, somebody died, there's been a death, my condolences. But no, grief is caused by loss. That is what puts us into grief. And it could be a loss, expected or unexpected, that changes your life in a way that you can't go back to the way it was before. And of course, death is that big shapeshifter, that change maker, that really is the biggest, I say the most intense loss that we as humans can experience is a loss of a loved one. So that is number one. But we also have a myriad of losses. What about the loss of a relationship? What about divorce? What about a loss of a job? A geographical name? Loss of health or surgery, some surgery that leaves you incapacitated in some way. An accident that definitely changes your life. Loss of mobility, aging, puberty. The list goes on with the number of losses that we experience that then puts us into grief. And grief is just normal emotions that go along along with these losses. That's what grief is. And yes, grief, I would be so remiss if I said, oh yes, it's grief and you can just move through it. No, you can't just, oh, that word that I wish could just be taken or erased out of the human language. Get over it. I think when people say get over it, I think their responsibility is to write it out like a recipe, like a cookie recipe. You know, this is how you get over it. Let's have some real concrete steps if we're going to tell people to get over something. Because you have to move through it. You have to experience it. Leaning into those difficult emotions that, yes, there are times I really just wish that I didn't feel what it is that I was feeling when I'm grieving a loss. But I know that by allowing myself to feel it, that is the healing. To feel it is to heal it. When it comes up, when these painful emotions come up, it's because it's at that time that you're ready to really feel it. And it's like just moving through it. And grief really needs to be validated. Grief needs to be heard. And grief needs to be shared. So with that knowing that that's how we move through grief, then we need a community. We need others around us. And I love what Bell Hooks says, that we cannot grieve in isolation. So I wanted to just set that stage because today we're going to talk about a grief that, so many of us have shared or have experienced. And it's processing grief in the aftermath of divorce. And you know that around the world, especially in the US, the divorce rates are just really high. Last I checked, I think it's like 62% of all marriages will end in divorce. So that's a lot of us. I myself have been divorced. So I know that type of grief. And we have a beautiful guest that's going to come on and share with us her experience of processing her grief after divorce. So why don't we get my guest out here? But before I bring her out, let me just read you her bio. She's just really an accomplished young lady and just such an esteemed guest. And she's a good friend, so that makes her doubly esteemed guest. So today I just have the honor of presenting to you Gaye Walton-Price. And Gaye is a highly motivated and talented university professor with extensive experience teaching Arabic and English as a second language, as well as an effective administrator and executive. Dr. Walton-Price earned her Ph.D. in Arabic language and linguistics at Georgetown University, and she is currently the Arab instructor at the University of San Francisco. Since the pandemic, though, she has gained invaluable experience designing and conducting Arabic classes of various levels online via Zoom, including private tutoring sessions with advanced level Arabic students. She has lived and worked in Tunisia and in Cairo, Egypt, for extended periods of time, and has conducted study tours for California community college students to Europe, to Egypt. I've got Europe on the brain today. Egypt, okay? After more than 20 years of college and university level teaching experience, she knows and demonstrates that one of her passions is the Arabic language, both teaching it, doing research with it, and in it, conversing in Arabic, as well as enjoying the great variety of Arabic cultures. Along the way, she has also gained expertise in teaching university level humanities and psychology, philosophy courses. Dr. Walton-Price has been an active member of the Foreign Language Association of Northern California for over 8 years and is currently serving as the secretary and treasurer of, I'm going to just say it because the acronym is getting me, Foreign Language Association Northern California. And she's also on the board and is the co-editor of the journal for Foreign Language Association of Northern California journal. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Gaye, for your yes. And before our show, she did instruct me how to say the acronym correctly. Anyway, welcome, Gaye, Dr. Gaye, to our show. Thank you so much. And just such an impressive bio, and you're just such an impressive individual and human on the planet, along with me.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Welcome, welcome. Yes. So thank you for your yes, Gaye, for coming on today to share your experience with processing grief in the aftermath of divorce. And please share with us your story. How did your marriage come about? We can always start with that.
Well, let's see. I was living in DC at the time and working full time because I had only my dissertation left to complete the degree program, but I couldn't afford it. So I was working full time. And that's when I met the person that became my spouse. And so we just started dating kind of casually, but it was interesting because he seemed to hit all the boxes, and I was smitten. So we got married, and actually in 1988, and our marriage lasted for 31 and a half years.
Wow. Yes.
And I think we were together like 1 year before that. So I usually say 32 years, because we were together that entire time.
Right.
But after our children, we had 2 children. After they grew up and went away to school, things started to unravel. And I learned that my ex was more interested in having the children. That was his main focus. And so once they had gone away to school, it was just he and I. And that's when things really started to unravel. To the point where I realized that I was not happy, and I realized that he was not happy either with me. So, it just got worse and worse.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was just going to ask you, Gaye, we're here, doing those divorce rates, 60% or whatever percent comes up. Sometimes I see a number there, but I don't relate it to me. Right. So I wanted to just ask, especially with having such longevity in your marriage, was there ever a time, even before, 30 whatever years, at 10 years, did you have any kind of shifts or changes? Just, kind of just the steps.
You did. And it seemed like, first of all, excuse me, but I think he was a control freak. And I tend to be a very independent person. And throughout the years, really, there were issues. And I also, being very a kind of optimistic person, I thought, well, okay, there are these issues which I can see. He was never one to want to get into any kind of counseling or therapy, even though I had suggested it early on when the kids were still in elementary school, because there were issues. And I know that you can't make somebody over into what you want them to be, but the longer we stayed together, I did stay, I think, because of the children, I didn't want them to have to go through growing up in a divorce situation, because I had, um, and um, and he had as well. So I wanted to shield my kid from that, and that was the main thing. Uh,
Right,
but there were many instances over the years. But,
right. That that you had some like, I'm
right,
not quite happy. I'm not quite
right,
sure that I can do this. Do
right.
you, because I do want to bring it to the actual, rebuilding your life afterwards. But
Mhm.
I want to ask this: you feel that during those 30 years, that there were parts of yourself that maybe you gave up, or was no longer in communication with, that kind of thing?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that now I'm really trying to rebuild myself,
Mm-hmm.
because it seemed to me at the time that it was most important for my children to have a good home environment, and for me to be, quote unquote, the good wife. Those
Mm-hmm.
were my main motivations. And then little by little, I realized I'm just discounting myself in this picture,
Mm-hmm.
and it became more and more stressful just to even go home after work.
Mm, I
I didn't
see.
know what situation he would be in, what mood, very
Yeah.
moody person. And so I felt for a long time that I was just walking on eggshells. It was
Mm-hmm.
very difficult.
Right,
Till
right.
one day I woke up and I said to myself, I don't have to live this way.
Mm,
And
mm,
it took courage, because, I couldn't really afford, I thought I couldn't afford to live on my own. And,
right.
you know, I just had to like start praying and figuring out, what am I going to do? Because I'm not going to continue on in this way.
Mhm, mhm. So, yeah, I just wanted to share as well that I hear what you're saying about walking on eggshells, not living the life that you want. In my own situation, I just remembered waking up one morning thinking, this is not the life I ever envisioned that I would be living.
Exactly.
It's like it was a dawning, like, this is not how I imagined my life to be.
I had the same realization.
Mm-hmm.
And for so long before that moment, I kept thinking, well, it's okay. He has other good qualities that I admire and I like. Um, but it just became overwhelming to say, yes, but that is not enough good reason to say
Yes,
it.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes. Exactly, Gaye. I just remember thinking the same thing, that yes, I love you. I love you very much.
right, right.
But sometimes love is not enough.
That's right. And you
To
have to love yourself first. Really
that.
do. And I had put myself on the back burner to such an extent that I hardly recognized who I was.
Oh wow, wow. Um, and maybe, yeah, maybe we'll tap into that, because that is a part of that grief process, that redefining, who am I, where am I.
Exactly.
So moving forward to finally, okay, saying, okay, enough, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Tell me about your experience in those first months of realizing, oh my gosh, I've done it. I've done it. Now what?
That's true. And that was pivotal. I mean, it was, at first, it was so liberating. And I remember telling my mom on the phone that for the first time in so many years, I was able to arrange the pictures on the walls of my apartment in the way that I wanted. And I didn't have to listen to anybody else, harping on, well, you don't have any taste, blah, blah, blah. And that was liberating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I felt such a sense of freedom and courage, because it took so much courage for me to do that, make that move, you know.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you, like when you were saying that you were talking to your mom, And did you have family support when you did leave?
Yes and no. I think my kids, first of all, were very supportive, even though they have a good relationship with their father. Both of them had witnessed on different occasions where he was verbally abusive to me,
Mhm.
and they encouraged me. They said, "Mom, we want you to be happy." So obviously, it's not with Dad, so you need to do something.
Mhm.
So they were encouraging of me.
Right, right. How about friends? Because so many times with divorce, you know what that means. There is,
Right.
you divide up the property, you divide up the friendships.
Friendships,
The
yes,
friendships get divided up.
right.
So how did that did that even affect your decision, or was that an aftermath process of a part of grieving other
I think it
relationships?
was. I think in general, all of my friends have been so supportive. And it wasn't like, with the ex, we didn't have like a couple or couples that we associated with, that we shared and did social things with in general, because he has his friends and I had my
Or
friends. I mean, we had some that overlapped, but in general, uh, we didn't have those kind of close, couple friends that the both parties would be torn over which one they were siding with. It wasn't that kind of a situation. Um,
right,
yeah.
right. And the big question that comes up when we're in a relationship. I'll just frame it this way: the economic parts of it.
Whoa.
That yes, there's a sense of for some people, maybe for some, not for all, but
Hmm.
there's two incomes to make things move
Right.
along, or that the husband could have been more affluent, or the wife could have been more affluent. But navigating that part, was there like a shift in your financial world, your as my Maslow's hierarchy of needs goes, food and shelter and
Right.
those kind
Right.
of things. How did
Right.
you navigate that world? Or were you just financially secure?
I was not, and
Mm.
I'm just barely getting to that point now. We've been separated now for 4 years. The divorce was only final a year ago.
Wow.
That was the big struggle for me,
Mhm.
because uh, first of all, he had done a job on my psyche in terms of saying to me repeatedly, "You're no good with money."
Okay. So
And
you
so
thought,
I had internalized that. And so I was really fearful of being able to manage on my own.
mhm.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
And he has the thing about money. Money is extremely important in his life. And we had many arguments about that, about finances over the
Mhm.
never got to a point where I felt really secure. I always felt sort of dependent on him in that way. And
Mhm.
I liked that feeling because I wanted to have my own, you know.
Right. And so, Gaye, there's like grieving the loss of a lifestyle change. That your lifestyle
Hmm.
is no longer that of what it had been before.
Right.
You want to speak to that a little bit of changing of a lifestyle?
Well, this was significant in our situation because about 2 years prior to me deciding I was leaving, we had bought a condo together, and it was kind of like my dream home. I mean, we'd had a couple of homes together in the past, but this was after the kids had left, and they were developing their own lives. And so we bought this condo. It had everything that I wanted, Bonnie. It had a fireplace, it had a large balcony, it had 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms,
Mm-hmm.
and, about 1,200 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
It was older, so we did a lot of renovation, and I got to choose
Yeah.
everything. You know, I got to choose the paint colors, and
Mm.
we redid part of the kitchen because it was an old building, and I got to choose the granite countertops. And
Wow.
no, actually, we got quartz, but you know, and the stove and the refrigerator and the dishwasher, you know, all that stuff. And it really was, I put my heart and soul into it. I loved that place. I really
Yes.
did, you know. It was well situated in terms of access to, you know, public transportation, and grocery stores, and everything. And it was, you know, down the street from this rose garden that's here in
Oh
Oakland.
yeah. Yes, an Upland Rose
Yeah.
Garden.
And so I just loved that place.
Mm.
I had a lot of internal conflict about wanting to leave, but loving the place, you know.
Right.
And so it was a big, big shift. And then, of course, I had to find another place. And so
Right.
I spent about 2 months scouring
Mm-hmm.
Oakland to find an appropriate place. And so it was a shift, definitely. I had to, you know, really reinforce myself. I was in therapy, trying to get my act together, you know, because this was new. I had not lived on my own for 30 years,
Wow.
you know,
And was that frightening in any way, Gaye?
extremely frightening, extremely frightening. I just tried to maintain my upbeat attitude, my positivity, but it was scary. It was definitely
Right.
scary.
And I love that you said maintain your positivity. I was just telling someone that, you know, we live in a society where, what is it? The new buzzword or toxic positivity.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do when you feel like maybe I don't want to put words in your mouth or out of your comfort zone, feel displaced? How do you navigate those feelings of not feeling quite so secure, having almost like a rug pulled from under you? How did you navigate that day? What was your
Well,
method of getting through that?
a couple of things. I think one is my work, because when
Mhm.
I'm in the classroom and I'm doing my thing with Arabic, I'm in another zone. And so that would give me joy, great joy, even though, you know, there were always administrative things in the background about, well, you're only part-time and you're this and you're that. But I still found so much joy from my work.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Secondly was my faith. And I have to say my faith really developed, got a lot stronger because it was like muscles that you use, you know, you hadn't used for a while. And that's what really helps me to get through.
your spiritual practice.
Yes,
Is
yes,
what I'm hearing you say, that you could
definitely.
use that to allow you to be with that discomfort
Hmm.
and the fear that comes up. That
Right.
yeah, what is that? Change always brings about fear. Fear bring anyway. Fear
Right.
is
Yes,
so intertwined into change because
it is.
wanting to know what tomorrow's going to be,
Right.
even though none of us are really, if we think about it, in control. None of us ever know what's coming next.
We do. We do.
That's the beauty of life, the unknown. The unknown.
But
Um,
there's also the possibility of developing one's trust. And I have really been working on that, knowing that I'm okay and that I'm not
mhm.
going to end up as a bag lady on the street, you know, which was a big fear. And then he, in order to be mean, would say things like that. You know, you're going to end up, because when we first separated, he offered to buy me a smaller condo from the one that we had.
Mhm.
And you know, Bonnie, I thought about it a lot. I just searched my heart. I talked to my children about it, and I decided no, I don't want to accept this offer because I just saw it as another means for him to keep a thumb on me, to
Oh,
control
that's
that.
wow.
You
I'll
know?
be honest, Gaye. I was thinking, well, why didn't you just take that condo? No, but no, it's good to hear
Yeah.
you talking. It's good to hear your rationale
Right.
around it.
It is. You know, the real estate agent that helped us find our place said the same thing to me. She said, well, he's going to buy you your own condo. Why don't you want it? And because, first of all, he had certain restrictions, like it had to be 450,000 or less. And I know this Oakland neighborhood area
Yeah.
where I want to live, and I didn't want to be somewhere out in East Oakland. Excuse my dear friends who live there, but
Yeah.
I didn't want that. And I didn't have a car. I didn't have access to a car. So I just wanted to be where I wanted to be. And I didn't want the idea of him forever, having a thumb on top of me. I said, no, I will figure it out myself.
Gaye, and what I'm hearing you say with all that, with having all these, oh wow, unseen twists and turns. I was going to ask you to speak to us about resiliency. That these are the things that I'll let you speak to it, and I'll add.
Resilience is one of my favorite words. And about 2 years ago, I joined this vision board workshop in January. It was 2 years ago, and so that's one of the words that I have. I cut it out from a magazine. Resilience. It's like kind of across the middle of the vision board. And yes, it's so important. And I really had to talk myself into it because, I did have the positivity, but there were always many moments when I thought, oh God, can I do this?
Oh,
It was crushing. It was really crushing. And it was like what I was used to, so I really had to just work on myself all the time. And like the little engine that could, I think I can, right? But resilience is my friend. It's really something that responds readily if we focus on it. And it like grows, So yes, this was very, very important.
Building resilience. And I heard another tool that I heard you say, getting therapy, having therapy. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Well, it all started because one day he got into his mind, let's go to therapy. And I think maybe somebody told him, if you want to save your marriage, you need to go to couples therapy. Mind you, I had been saying this to him over the years, Bonnie, over the years, and he never took me up on it. And that was sort of typical of everything. If I made the suggestion, he said no right away. And then maybe later, way later, he'll come up with the idea as if it was his own.
Yeah. So we'll let him have it in this case. So yes. What did you? How did having therapy help you during this time? What is your takeaway from that period of time of being in this unknown territory, getting therapy? Tell me how that, or help us understand how that helped.
It was so helpful for me because it gave me the space that was comforting, and it allowed me to speak what was really in my heart. And I had not been able to do that, all throughout my marriage. And so the therapy really helped me to recognize, well, who is this person that's been buried for so long? And, it gave me hope again. And it gave me the possibility that I can go on and I'm going to create a wonderful future for myself. It's up to me. And I have the tools, the therapy helps me gain the tools to recognize that. Because I didn't have them before.
Yes, yes. So giving you a whole new set of, um, another support layer, another layer of support.
Right.
As you said, your spiritual practice, being able to lean into that, being
Right.
able to have psychotherapy, to lean into that.
Right.
And what I hear, what you said about having therapy, which I think is so true for all of us in all of our situations, that we want to be heard. And especially when we're in a relationship,
Right.
the desire to be heard by your partner. And not just heard. I have a niece that was saying, oh, she said, oh, Bonnie, you don't listen, right? Anyway, I take it as love. I take it as love. She's pointing out a blind spot. She said, you just don't listen. We told you blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, I do listen. I said, I just didn't hear you. I was listening. I just didn't hear you.
Yeah.
So I think there's a difference between just speaking and that person's there. Not, you want to be heard. You want, and that's what I say about grief.
Yes.
It needs to be heard.
It does.
It
And
needs to be validated. It needs to be validated.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, that's what therapy helps me do, along with my spiritual practice. But I think having another person there, that you can bounce off ideas with, and it's been so beneficial.
Yeah, yeah. I refer to it as having a witness as to what you're having someone witness it and say yes, yes, and maybe even offer another perspective. Not telling you what to do, but just offering, just kind of shifting the lens a little bit to just see it from a different perspective. There's two questions I wanted to ask you that can sometimes really put someone into grief, is being so identified as being a married person. Did you go through that?
Yes, I did. And it was, even though there had been so many instances throughout our lives together that he would try to put me down, especially in public. I know he liked to say that he was my biggest fan, but I never heard it. And so he would tell other people, he would be bragging about his wife, quote unquote. But I'm sorry, I lost my train.
Oh, no. I was just asking you about identity and loss of identity as a woman as a married woman. Oh, I'm a married woman now. You're suddenly, I'm single, or that I'm divorced statement.
Yeah, there's a certain stigma to it, I think.
Yeah.
And especially, I'm past my 60s. So it's like, whoa, what do I do? How do I reconcile how I feel now as a human being, wanting to go forward and, go into new adventures and everything, and at the same time be a divorcee,
Or is it gay about redefining yourself, reinventing yourself? That's the word I'm looking for.
Totally.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm having fun now doing that.
Right.
But you have to go. I feel that I had to go through those dark days and nights, shifting.
Oh,
now I think of myself as being married to him, and now I'm not. And so what does that mean for me? In all aspects of my life. I love cooking, but during the marriage, it became drudgery.
chore.
Yeah, it's such a chore, because he would do things. He would wait until I got home from work and then say, "Well, I'm hungry." Well, do something for yourself, right?
Well, you no longer have that issue. So reinventing yourself, falling in love with yourself in different ways. Right. And I don't want to tie this up with a pretty bow or anything, because it does take time. We need to go through all of those down moments, sad moments, doubtful moments, losing perspective moments, all of that helps, for lack of a better word, that helps kind of what's happened in the past, puts it in the past. I was going to say to erase it, but no, our history is what makes us who we are.
That's
So
right.
not erasing it, but finding something that's like a part of the ingredient of a beautiful cake. You know, a cake has salt and baking soda.
Right.
Okay, so does a beautiful life have, you know, a divorce, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. There is one point that I wanted to bring up that does come up from some of my clients that I have had.
Mm-hmm.
That some of them have said, it would have been better if my spouse had died.
Oh.
Because then I would have had to really move forward in a different
Right.
way without caring. And this is the part that they talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Because I still hear about my spouse on social media. People still tell me how happy they are, how they've remarried, and how you still have to hear about this person that maybe, I'll just say it, that has really left maybe a hole in your heart.
Right. Right.
Some really longing in your heart.
I still deal with that. I definitely still deal with it because I feel like he was such a presence in my life, and I don't wish that he would die. I mean, I know some of my people said that, but I think that it's of no moment. Whatever he's doing, that's his life now, and I don't have to be concerned about it. And I don't know. I think it's a different level of degree in terms of, you know, I wish my spouse had passed. It is what it is, you know, and I'm having to deal with the situation of reinventing myself, and I'm grateful that I can, you know.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, because I did have one friend who, and oh gosh, she just had a tumultuous marriage and just took everything. Just really, I always say that it just stole her soul. And one day she invited me to lunch, and she was so joyous and jubilant. And it's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? She says, oh, ding dong, the witch is dead. The wicked witch is dead.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I was sitting there thinking, how sacrilegious is this? But then this was her story. I had nothing. I mean, this was her story. It allowed me a glimpse into someone's life who she literally, they felt that her life was destroyed, and it was because of this person. And she could really never move forward. So I just say that, offering it up, so that if you have those feelings, take away the guilt. It's just what you feel. Allow yourself to feel. I don't know if I go as far as inviting people to lunch to say, ding dong, the witch is dead. But just to say, that's how deep a hurt that a divorce can have. And unfortunately, she was not one of those people that could be like you, that could be resilient and pull herself through. She really just went into a downward spiral. So, and just hoping. But as I said, I say that so that if someone's having that feeling, that they remove guilt, because guilt is a lesson not learned. So honor what you feel. And if your life has spiraled down to that is the time to get help, as you said, get professional help. Because you're worthy of living. You're worthy of living a full, productive, and happy life. You're worthy of that. No matter what the circumstances, you know, no matter the circumstances of that divorce. So anyway, now that I've told you about that, I was going to say, what is the biggest take? Oh, well, no, before I ask you, how do you hold it when your kids are talking about their father? What would you advise to people? And how do you hold it?
I've really been able to separate myself. I mean, at this point, I care about my ex as another human being, and I wish him well. I'm still getting over that kind of sensitive feelings that I may have if my kids talk about him.
Yeah.
And usually we don't. Usually he doesn't come up in conversation. But I sometimes will ask them, have you talked to your father? Or, what's he doing? Or they'll tell me, various things.
What's your reason for asking? When you ask, what's your reason for asking?
My curiosity. That's it. I mean, it's like there's no more sting of hurt, like, oh, well, we're divorced, so, too bad on me kind of thing. I've really worked on that. Sometimes I'm just curious. They say curiosity killed the cat, the satisfaction killed the cat,
Yeah, so you're satisfied to know that he's well.
Yeah, I am. I really am.
Yeah.
And I noticed that not too long ago, probably about 3 weeks ago now, I ran into him on the street just by chance.
Wow.
And Bonnie, he totally ignored me. Totally, And so that hurt a little bit.
Yes, to be honest, yes.
It did. But I said to myself, fine. I would rather him ignore me than to embarrass me out in public, which he has done since the divorce. He's, started talking to me in a loud voice on the street, asking something about the legal process, and which he knew all along, but he just wanted to sort of get at me. And I would rather him just ignore me if he has nothing good to say or nothing, no friendliness at all. That's fine. Let it be.
Yeah, thank you. And there's one other aspect of grieving after divorce is that you probably had plans together for your golden years. We'll put it that way. Plans together. Do you have plans together? Plans with the kids, or plans for vacation?
No, honestly.
No.
I pictured a life with him for the end of my days. That's how I imagined it. But I always seem to imagine things better than what they actually were.
Oh.
And so he did not, he was kind of a workaholic. He did not see the value in taking family vacations. I think we had really 2 vacations the entire 30 plus years. One was with our children because our son ran track, and so we went up to Seattle so he could participate in the Junior Olympics event. And the other one was he and I went on a cruise together that he had actually earned because of his sales of insurance or something, and we went to Hawaii. Those are the only 2 times in 30 plus years that we took a vacation.
Wow. So there was a lot of loss. I mean, really loss of really having together time as a true couple. Yeah. So there's a lot there as well.
I know how he pictured it. He said he imagined that after the kids went away to school, that we would just be kicking it, which meant that I was there as his beck and call. Because he used to get so annoyed with me because being an instructor, I had homework to prepare for.
Right, you had homework to do, yes.
Yeah, I did. And he was like always jealous or mad because I wasn't paying attention to him. And so
so there wasn't that loss of a plan of the golden years, and we would be doing this and on the high seas and the house in the mountains.
Exactly.
Well, I can't believe our time is coming to an end. It feels like we just got started. But I just want to ask you what words of wisdom, what words would you like to share with someone that may be experiencing exactly what your spirit experienced, but not in that same exact order, but a woman or a person, not a person that is experiencing post-divorce grief. And sometimes it can be a trauma. It all depends on how it all happened. But someone that is post-divorce, what would your words be to them?
I would say, focus on yourself. and learn to love yourself first. Because, we are these complex human beings, but we cannot give love unless we've got it first for ourselves. And that's been my journey for the last, 4 or 5 years now. Just focusing on reestablishing my self-worth. That's been so important. And then other things develop out of that. Like I bought a bicycle because I always wanted a bicycle. And, he would always say, no, we can't afford it. So as soon as I was able, I bought myself a bicycle. And so that's like a sign of freedom to me. And I love doing it. And it's just so invigorating,
Right.
So find something you really love and just dive into it.
Good advice. Yes. And what I would like to add to that, Gaye, as you know, that all of this, change and grief and grieving can just be exhausting.
Okay.
So I say just get a good self-care routine.
That's right.
I just, there was a minister at Oakland Center for Spiritual Living yesterday that was talking about a book called The Ministry of Naps. Yeah, check out that book. Maybe start a ministry of nap.
Yes,
really,
that is so amazing, Bonnie, because I was just going to say, I've learned how to take a nap, and I love it. It's really
put some downtime in the middle of that. And I say for people that maybe have kids and running around and you can't take a nap, just schedule. I just say schedule a few minutes in the middle of the day to take some really deep breaths and be centered.
Yes.
You just set a timer to just, breathe for, 2 complete minutes, that you just follow your breath, there is ways to find rest in the midst of everything.
That's right.
Americans have just busy lifestyles, and I'm sure the rest of the world, but finding a place of rest in the middle of that. Prescribing to the ministry of nap. Movement. Sometimes we just need to move to get those emotions up and out. Movement, dance, yoga, hiking, jogging. Those kind of moving the body, bringing the body. What is a book? The body keeps the score. So don't feel like this is just all happening in the cosmos or in the ethers of your mind. The body's keeping the score. So engage the body.
Yes.
Engage the body. And I advocate finding a spiritual practice that resonates with you. Finding a spiritual practice. And I know that's not for everyone, but there is something that you can.
That's right.
There's so many philosophies, traditions. Start your own. Start your own.
Whatever works for you.
However it works, yes. Right. If it's sitting, what's sky gazing? Sky gazing, just gazing at the sky. That's awesome. Being in nature. So yes, and most importantly, don't do grief alone. No. Don't do grief alone. Get a good support system, be it therapy, be it group therapy, be it a good friend, someone that will listen, because grief, as I said, needs to be validated, needs to be heard, it needs to be shared. So don't do any of this alone. Don't do any of this work alone.
Yeah, there are many support groups out there,
just waiting.
Just waiting for people.
Just waiting just for you. So, Gaye, I thank you so much for being here with me today. I was going to take a break, but we're going to forget that. And I'm going to talk a little bit. Oh, thank you. Oh, and Gaye is also available for ceremonial, ritual ceremonies. Would you speak a little bit of that?
Sacred ceremonies. Yeah, I've just recently, since I've been yes, I perform marriages, vow renewals, memorial services, things that involve the spiritual side of life. And I have a wedding coming up on this Saturday. Yes.
Well, congratulations. And Gaye is also available for Arabic classes. She has ongoing classes, and she's doing a series on Egyptian history. Am I correct? Arabic Egyptian history?
Yeah, well, short stories. Short stories. Yes.
Yes. And is that on your website?
No, it isn't actually. I need to.
Well, she'll be getting that up on the website so you can join. Right. So she's got 2 websites there, and email address, and you can see where to find her to email about marriages or her short story series that she's doing. So thank you so much, and what a joy you've been, Gaye. What a joy, and so informative and forthcoming. And I appreciate your vulnerability and authenticity. Thank you. So, Joe, just quickly, I just want to put a plug in for the Conference of Americas that will be happening right here in Lake Chapala. I live in Lake Chapala, and that's Jalisco, Mexico. And the date for that is the 2nd through the 5th. And to register, you just go to www.conventionoftheamericas.com. And I'd love to see you there. I'm going to be presenting a workshop doing soul collage, healing grief with soul collage. So go in, register. And for those people that may be watching locally, there'll be more information for local people who may not need the hotel. But just so looking forward to it. There's going to be some nationally known speakers, and we'll be giving more information about that as the time gets closer. And the theme of this conference is sharing the light. And remember, you are the light, so we'll be sharing the light. And I just want to thank everyone for watching. And I'd also like to give a plug for New Thought Media Network, newthoughtmedianetwork.org. Go in, check it out. There are excellent programs coming up, new programs being added to the platform. Go in and check it out. And as you're checking it out, why don't you make a donation? And it's ntmedia.org/donation, so that we can keep having programming that really delves into deeper subjects that allow us to really evolve, to look at ourselves, to grow, to learn, and to be with each other. Most importantly, to be with each other, to have connections. So what I'd like to leave you with, and whatever grief comes in so many packages, as we talked about it earlier, I just want you to really just start treating yourself very gently. Just be gentle with yourself. I know our lifestyles are about doing, and how much have you accomplished, but what about just being? What about just being you? Just dropping in to enjoy your gifts that you have. And what I offer you to do today is just, take that mirror, look into the mirror, and just ask yourself, what do I need right now? What do I need? And whatever that answer is, do it, be it, allow it, knowing that you are so worthy of peace and ease in your life, and that grief is transformative, and it can bring you to that exact place of peace and ease. So with that, I just want to say thank you. Again, I am Bonnie Gonzalez, your doula for grief, and I am available for grief coaching. So as I said, don't do this alone. There's no reason to do grief alone. Again, thank you, Gaye, for being here today. And to all, hope to see you next week. Bring a friend next time. Thank you. Just have a beautiful, beautiful day, night, evening, whenever you're watching. Ciao.
New Thought Radio, music from all your favorite New Thought artists. From Jamie Lula, Karen Drucker, Gary Lynn Floyd, Ricky Byers, Daniel Namod, Eddie Watkins Jr., and many, many more. 24/7 New Thought Radio. Positively inspiring.